Deion Sanders and Coach Prime, everybody wants to call Coach Prime, in Colorado is obviously a topic of discussion because they make it a topic of discussion. I just want to be clear. Like, we're not talking about fucking Indiana University or Akron or not even USC or UCLA because we don't see them this much. Now, listen, you can take it either way, whatever, each his own. I don't really mind it. I'm just saying, like, we show it so much because they show it so much. I mean, right? That's really what it comes down to. So, like, what is your whole take on this whole Colorado, Deion, filming everything, putting it out there, blinging, checking diamonds? They got Jack last year in LA. They're doing it still. What do you think about it?
I mean, I really don't have a problem with the way that Deion. Listen, like, it's not conventional. It's not a team that I would definitely I would be comfortable with if I were, like, you know, an assistant coach to Deion and this was the way that we were doing things. It's something that I'd have to get used to. But you know what? I don't know if it's a recruiting tool. You know, they showing up, showing what they got. You know, does that entice other players to want to come to Colorado? But I think in the social media world, you've got to be able to get people's attention if that's the business that you're in. And so I think that they're using that as, you know, waving their flag in Boulder and saying, you know, we're in the game as well on a national perspective. And, you know, how they're doing it is how they're doing it, you know?
100%, man. And like I said numerous times, regardless if we like it or not, that's just a preference. That's just subjective, right? You like the cameras and all that stuff. At the end of the day, they got to go out there and play the game. And we will see how it translates. And I have not seen anything that tells me either A, they're going to be shitty, or B, they're going to ball out. Because there's nothing. Everything they're showing is stuff that happens in every other locker room. We're seeing it. We're seeing Deion complain or yell at the players for not cleaning the locker room. How many of us have been in dirty locker rooms before and had that same type of conversation? These are regular things that happen, but we're seeing it. So we're, as fans or whatever you want to call it, analysts are blowing it out of proportion, where if we weren't seeing it, we just wouldn't know and it would mean nothing. So that doesn't change that doesn't change the outcome of what the season will be, is what I'm saying.
I think Deion is I think he's attempting to try to show a little bit of balance, right? I think where, you know, they've kind of got, you know, the bling bling, they've got all that going on, but I think he's trying to show whether it be parents, recruits, or just the public at large, that, like, he is holding them accountable. You know what I'm saying? It's not all just glitz and glam. There are some lessons being taught here, and I think this is his attempt to kind of show people, like, yo, it's not all good over here. I'm trying to hold these kids to a certain standard. So I think that's Deion's way of showing that. So, you know, good on him.
Yeah. My thing is, like, this game, as you know, Tank, will eat you, swallow you, spit you out. And I just don't think there's any humility being shown. And I just don't understand that coming from a guy like Prime, who's came from the mud himself, who's developed and created this platform for his own children, which you have to commend, and we love seeing. I just don't see why he don't understand that concept. He knows his game spits you up, eat you, and spits you out. I'm trying to figure out why his kids don't realize that yet. Like, I just don't understand. Like, last year was pretty damn bad. And I know it's year one, all good. I just, like, how about let's get good first, then floss, then talk shit, then get everybody to come at us because we're winners. I just don't understand. I just think Shaun King has been on this show every Thursday. He kind of said, I want to get your take. He's saying that he thinks that Deion, from everything he's done, is built a lateral program instead of a vertical one, meaning he's just getting mercenaries to come in one year, you know, hitter quitters to protect his kids and Hunter, and then he's out. His daughter just entered the transfer portal yesterday, left Colorado. Could be a telltale sign, and his two kids are probably leaving after this year. Is this a vertical? Because you're not recruiting high school. He ain't recruiting no high school kids. And
so that would make it a vertical program if he was recruiting high school players?
Yeah, because I think
kind of like developing from freshmen on the way through, that's vertical, and getting guys in the transfer portal as lateral.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not even only transfer portal. It's semester kids he's getting. Like he's getting kids in the semester time. He's not even getting them like in January all the way through the season. He's getting kids that like coming up in May. Portal opens back up in May. So people are talking about the Pac-12 to the Big 12 is going to be easy and all this. I don't see it because the schools that have been building vertically, Tank, like Baylor, TCU, Oklahoma State, who struggled last year, Nebraska, they're building vertical because they want to be there for long term. Shaun's point is this guy, Deion's building it lateral because he knows it's a quick fix. And at the end of the day, the future of that university is what I'm discussing. Like, it's going to be cupboards bare if this cat just were to walk up and bounce. And I'm just like, lateral programs don't really teach tough skin, don't really teach how to fucking get through a lot of different things. And if that's the case, cool. If we're in a pay-for-play era, which we are, I think you agree, we're in a pay-to-play. It's not an NIL deal because that's not what this really was intended to do. We're in a pay-for-play. The Oregon State running back yesterday transferred after they gave him $400,000 to play, and it wasn't enough. That's pay-for-play, dog. I'm sorry. I mean, it is what it is. So, not mad at it. I'm just saying, is this the most conducive way to build a program? I don't know if you're building a program. I think you're just building a quick fix, putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound.
Well, I mean, I truly believe that that's the landscape that we're in. You got to be you've got to be able to build a team that can compete. If you're on the 3-4 year development plan, while everybody else, as you call it, getting hired mercenaries, then you're going to struggle. I personally believe in vertical and developing players, but I mean, this is a new tool. You know, it's no different than video games, right? Are you going to run around with the handgun when motherfuckers is bringing in planes over you and shooting you with all type of shit? It's like, nah, I'm going to try to go and grab some of them bombs and see if they work, right? Like, having those bombs doesn't always equate to wins, but I guarantee you, if you have somebody that knows how to manage that, it'll give you a chance. I think there's got to be a mixture of both, but right now, with the year that he had last year, there's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a hot seat, but there's going to be all eyes in Boulder, Colorado to see the progress of the program, the boosters, the people who are letting him use that jet every time he wants to go out, back down to Dallas and move around and doesn't want to go through the airport. All those people are tallying shit up. Okay, now let's see how this equates to wins. And so there's a lot of pressure on Deion and all those guys to win, because if they don't, they're going to have egg on their face. But you know what? If you invest your heart and soul into the offseason, I feel like everybody has egg on their face if they lose games. It's like, fuck, I put in all this work and it turned out to be nothing. So, I don't think it's any different. I just think it's more visible.
But also the good thing for him, at least, is that Colorado was so bad before he got, they won one game before he got there, Tank. So if he wins 7 games this year, 7-5, that's a cool season in general. But for them, that's a win. That means that he's improving every year. You went from 1 game before you got there to 4-8 last year to 7-5. So as long as they're trending upwards, I think he's going to be good to go. So, like, the bar isn't set super high. It's not like he's taking over Alabama where he has to go undefeated. You know what I'm saying? So the bar is a little lower, and they have a favorable schedule as well.
Yeah. I mean, JB, I think you got to realize this, man. I mean, like if you look at Deion and the type of player he was, I mean, he was a one of one truly, right? He's that guy that probably didn't come to OTAs in the offseason. He's the guy that showed up on day one better than everybody. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at like his personality and his makeup, his team is gonna reflect that just a little bit, right? They're gonna be kind of an image of him. Right. And so if he's trying to put like the good values around it, but Deion has always been that supreme talent. And when you got supreme talent, sometimes you just don't go through the same pathways as everybody else, and that's just how it goes.
Hey, I have no issue. I hope he has success. Contrary to everyone out there's belief that thinks I'm hating. No, I'm not hating. What I do say is, which has been proven to be fact, though.
So if it's not hating, what do you call it? Because I personally think that. Do you feel like you should be a head coach? Do you feel like you're getting overlooked to be a head coach? Because I mean, shit, you could nitpick every program.
That's what. Yeah, that's not what. Yeah. I'm blackballed. It's no discussion about it. If does
that make you a hater?
Make me a hater that I'm blackballed?
Yeah, I mean, you're watching. I mean, you always talk about people having credentials to earn the ability to be a head coach. Do you think you've got the credentials to walk into a Power 5 thing right now and win?
I don't have the credentials. I haven't coached Power 5. So then what
gives you the right to criticize someone for doing it the way that they want to do it?
What
you did it the way that you wanted to do it.
Coach.
You did it your way, and everybody had an opinion on how you did your coaching, right? And it wasn't conventional, but it worked for you. And what did you say about people who said something about you? You were like, they don't get it, they don't understand. So why can't Deion be afforded that same latitude?
He can be afforded, but give me the reason why he was afforded it. Tell me what his credentials are to be a Power 5 head coach.
He's done the work every day. He's done the work at Jackson. He was at Trinity College. I mean, it's like this.
That's how he got there, though.
The good players get pushed to the front. That I can't argue that I'm not Vince Wilfork, right? I've got to be Tank Johnson. And Deion Sanders, he coached at the high school level. He's coached at the HBCU level. And so somebody gave him the job contract to go and coach. That says that has the credentials. That's why he's got the credentials, because somebody put the contract in front of him and said, come make my program better. And he did. So if it's not good enough for your standard, then I mean, that to me, that's hating.
Yeah, I think that's totally false what you just said. That's between us. I think that's wrong. He has not earned anything at the coaching level. He is a figurehead in the playing level. He is the greatest of all time.
But how do you know that though?
What do you mean? We know he's the greatest player.
20 years.
We know he's the greatest player though, right? We agree he's the greatest player.
But I'm not talking about playing. I'm talking about Deion has been coaching for 20 years. He's been coaching
not as a head coach.
Who comes in as a head coach for 20 years? They got to be a position coach, a coordinator, and he's done all of those things. And so now he's got his opportunity to coach at Colorado. And listen, his personality is being reflected in his team. And I just don't understand why. Look, I don't agree with all the bullshit and I just don't agree with it. But I didn't agree with guys missing OTAs. But if they came the first day and balled out, what can you say? You can't say nothing. So
the bottom line is we've seen this story. We've seen great players and they're absolutely horrific coaches. And they get pushed 100%. Up. They get pushed to this spot because their playing ability or nepotism or who they knew. They didn't earn the right. Deion Sanders, dog, I've been knowing him for 20 years.
Nepotism is just like putting your family on. So Deion, it's nothing about nepotism that he got the job. Him bringing his family, that's nepotism.
Yeah, I'm not tripping on that. You should bring your family. I'm saying I've known him for 20 years coaching. He was a 7-on-7 trainer coach, had his own thing going in Dallas. He was an OC for his kids, not the head coach. He was OC at the youth level. And then he started a charter school that went whatever happened there. And then he went on and got the Jackson State job because he finally threw his name in the hat because he's Deion Sanders. He had no credentials above me or 1,000 coaches I know that are more qualified to coach.
But he got there and he did the job at a high level, though. So whether he had it or not, it worked.
I got a close homeboy that we all know. Tank probably knows really well too. Eddie George is my homie. He calls me to talk to his staff all the time. He'll tell you he got the job because of his name. He never coached in his life, homie. And the coach that he replaced has been doing well.
That's why we put in the hard work to get something because of our name. So like time out. Like if you get an opportunity because they know you're JB, you got an opportunity because of your name. His name has a very pristine, clean image, especially coming out of Dallas. He's a Hall of Famer. He's played for 2 historic franchises. That's exactly what you want your name to do, is to jump you ahead of all these other people. And that's credentials, just like anybody else. If Brett Favre wanted to come and be a coach, I guarantee you they wouldn't have him as a quarterback's coach. They're going to shoot Brett Favre right up to the head coach. And that's what you want out of your name, image, and likeness.
But that a name isn't credentials.
It is credentials because you've earned the things behind your name. The things behind your name is not hollow. When you got a gold jacket, when you coached on several levels, like that's not a hollow resume. His resume, yeah, does he have like a championship? No, but what he has, he's done the work. He was a player. He's coached on different levels, and because of his name, he's got an opportunity. That is not a hollow resume. That's how it's supposed to work. Just like I'm Tank Johnson, if I go and say, yo, I want to go and be a D-line coach, well, some grad assistant who is a backup D tackle for some school, they're going to move me in front of him because I'm Tank Johnson. And if you can't appreciate that, then you don't understand what it means to be a ex-pro player. I know that you weren't an ex-pro, but that's what we get. When you're an ex-player, that's what we get. We get pushed to the front over the guys who probably serve more coffee. Who knows? But we're
talking the same thing. But the problem is when you coach like I did, then you see that people get leaped over for some cat that played with a name who's an absolute horrific coach. Ask Mike Singletary. Ask all the great players who have.
Oh, wait, are you saying Mike Singletary was a horrific coach, or there was a horrific coach that replaced him?
No, he was a great. I said a Hall of Fame player who has leaped over some coach that had an opportunity to be the coach because of the name Mike Singletary possesses. He goes into the 49ers, and we know that was a debacle.
Well, guess what? But listen, the outcome doesn't matter. What matters is that's how the pipeline works when you have played the game. Just, it's no different. If you walk up to a high school football field right now, they're going to say, hey, JB, tell this quarterback how to throw the ball. Why? Because you coached at a junior college level. So because of your name, they're going to say, hey, JB, you know more than this little slappy that I got. So I think you're just.
It ain't even about JUCO. It's coaching for 20 plus years.
That's why it comes off as disingenuous to me.
These cats ain't never coached ever. Huh?
I said that's why it comes off as disingenuous, because like if it's celebrity. Like we know what celebrity does. Now, whether the outcome is good or bad, it doesn't matter. It might change.
Let's keep it all the way funky, homie. You're not letting your kid get coached by a celebrity over a qualified coach?
But hold on, real quick. I don't want to get too far.
We're skipping over coaches that are qualified because you have a celebrity status.
But let's keep the focus on Deion. No, Deion has celebrity.
Fucked up.
Deion has celebrity status, and he coached though.
And he coached, yeah.
He hasn't coached, homie. He hasn't been a head coach at a big time program, Smitty. You keep missing over the hop. You keep hopping over the fucking discussion. He hasn't been a head coach before this.
How do you earn it?
He coached at the HBCU for 2 years, Smitty, and got absolutely blown out in the biggest game.
But think about the turnaround. You can't just say that though, JB. That's what I'm saying. Like what were their record for those two? No, what were their record for those 2 years? What were their record for those 2 years that he was there, and what was the record before he got there, JB?
What's my point about the celebrity status, dog? Listen, we're saying the same shit. I have no issue on who took the job. I'm saying the celebrity status is clear. The clear path on why that Colorado made the money they made last year. Let's be real. The field lacked, the wins lacked, the money is bigger than ever. It's because of who Prime is. Who was on the sideline at Colorado during those games? All the celebrities, the rappers, the players. Because of who Prime is. It's not because he's a coach and winning. It's because he's a celebrity.
JB, those celebrities came to support Deion Sanders because of his name that he holds in our community. And not only that, he's upheld his name. Not only it's not just a name, he's done the work when nobody was looking. There was not a million eyes on Trinity Christian. It was him doing the work, getting the opportunity because of what he did and his name. So it really doesn't really matter, JB, because what really matters is he's there now. His team is a reflection of him. And you know what? If that's something that you want to choose to nitpick every day, then go ahead, I guess.
But that's what I mean, JB. We always argue.
It ain't nitpicking. I just want to keep it 100.
It's hating. It's hating.
If it's hate, then why ain't Eddie George getting fucking the same love? He's a fucking great player. He's a brother that took an HBCU program.
Eddie George ain't Deion. He doesn't got Deion's personality.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point, though. Like, these cats haven't coached. They've jumped over a quality dude.
Where does Eddie George coach at?
Tennessee State.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. It's not, to me, it's not hate when you're in the profession. When you see coaches get leaped over for celebrity status people, when I know that there's coaches out there.
So is that your issue with Deion? Is that he leapt over some more quality? Is that your issue with Deion?
No, I don't have an issue. I don't really care. This is a nepotism ran world. I'm not tripping on who gets the job. My whole point is just the difference between a celebrity getting the job and an actual qualified coach that actually can help youngsters become better football players. I'm not saying Deion's not making them better men. He probably
All I gotta say is, how do you get to gauge who's qualified? How are you a junior college coach?
Hands on.
You're a junior college coach at your highest.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get to say who is qualified to be a coach on the Power 5 level?
So
you don't have the credentials to say anything to Deion Sanders, bro.
You don't think you don't think blackballed is a real thing in this? You know better than anybody. You don't think blackballed matters? Counts?
I mean, listen.
You don't think I've been looked over as a D1 coach?
You're not even blackballed in his same arena. You're not even in that arena, man.
He got to that arena, Tank, because of his name, not credentials. Let's keep it real.
But that's, again,
I didn't get out of JUCO. That's why I couldn't leave JUCO. I was blackballed. You know how many D1 job offers I had when I was younger?
Because you know what? That's you saying that. But guess what? Somebody else said different. And the person that matters, who writes the checks, said different. And
that doesn't mean it's correct.
That person matters. That person matters. Correct.
Like sending 28 dudes to the league and 300 Division I, it don't matter what level you coach at, dog. You literally coach at every level.
You did not send them to the league. They did not go to the league from junior college. They went on to a Power 5 program and got even more development. So yeah, you coached them along the way, just like I coached Cam Jordan and Pop Warner. But I can't say I sent Cam to the league because he was my little nose guard. I think that's disingenuous as well. I think you've got a relationship.
I think it's a lack of experience that you're coming from with your discussion, and this is not fact.
I've got a lot of experience in the arena of football.
But you're missing the fact. Jermaine Johnson don't go to Division I, homie, without me. So where are you skipping a whole 2 years time frame is where you are incorrect and inexperienced.
They might.
Homie, I say these dudes live. They don't go D1 without me, dog.
You were a part of their journey, JB. They do go D1 without you.
They go D1 if I save them out.
If he would have went to another JUCO,
school,
JB, if he would have went to another JUCO, he would have still went to Power 5 and still went pro.
No, he's not. No, he wouldn't have, homie. This is
how can you say that?
That you are facing. How are you showing? You are showing a lack of experience in this discussion.
No,
and I'm telling you why.
JB, no, because there's a million junior. Just because he chose yours and went to your school. What I'm saying is, had he gone to another junior college, he would have still gone D1. He would have still
he wouldn't have.
NFL.
No, he wouldn't have, dog. See, I'm telling you.
So you're
all talking to me in my wheelhouse and telling me.
You're telling me
you're telling me about my wheelhouse, just like if I told you about yours, you would correct me.
Wait, so you're telling me that if it weren't for you, then all those kids would have never gone on to play in the NFL?
Not all. Don't move the goal. Not all. What I'm saying is, let me give you. Can I give you the example, and then you reiterate your point? Jermaine Johnson goes to Garden City. He fails. He does not graduate from Garden City. His GPA would have been too low, and he doesn't make it. I've had thousands of those kids.
Wait, is that a hypothetical, or did that really happen?
No. I'm just using his name, but this really happened. This happens with everybody. He did not qualify to high school. He didn't have a GPA. So I've had hundreds of kids, ask Tank Dell, who's now at the Texans, who have gone to another JUCO or was recruited by another JUCO who literally would not have got him through the educational process because they would have been too nice, kissed his ass, and whispered sweet nothings. They don't go D1 Tank.
Is that your
opinion? They don't go D1 Tank. They don't make it D1 because they don't get out of the JUCO. I take them. I take them. It's fact, homie. I've taken JUCO kids from other schools and graduated them.
Time out. You just said that if he went to another junior college, they would have kissed his ass, been too nice to him, and he would have never made it. Time out. That is a hypothetical situation. That is, you don't have all those guys didn't
using his name
at another place and then come to your school and then you magically
using his name. I'm not, this is facts. I'm just using one person's name that if it happened, I've taken these kids from JUCOs that were failing and brought them to my school to get them through the process. And then I sent them D1. If they wouldn't have came to me, they would never have left the other JUCO. They would have never went D1. Fact. So I don't understand how you're telling me otherwise. It's fact. It's on record. I have proof.
I'm telling you otherwise because I was an athlete and I was a talent. And whether I went to Ohio State or Washington, I'm going to the NFL because of my talent. Now, different environments can create different challenges. Absolutely. 100%. And a coach like you with a certain mindset is maybe a more favorable for players getting through. I truly believe that. But I also know, just like I told you on here a few months ago, there's a lot of lousy coaches in the NFL who do not develop talent, but they've got all pro on their resume. I coached this guy. He was all pro. You did not fucking even develop this cat. He came to you ready-made. And so that's a coaching perk that you get to say, oh, he passed by me. That was me. I got him to the league. Yes, sir. Hey, that's a benefit of being a coach. But I'm telling you, like I told you before, these cats come in ready to go. All these coaches have to do, make sure you know the defense, you know the play, and you need somebody to talk to. Hey, come holler at me.
I've never had a ready-made kid come to me unless he was a Power 5 kid transferring down.
I was gonna say, Tank, the one thing I will disagree with you on though is the difference in what you're saying is so the example you just used was from the pro level, which obviously only you can speak on that, and I get that because these guys are already getting paid to be number pro.
It was just
at
an example.
Right. But the college level, high school level, of course. Though that is when you get developed. That is the moment when you do need a coach to develop. I still to this day talk to my high school D-line coach to this day, and I'd say that he helped change my life. Without him, I don't get the scholarship to go D1, and that led to this and the third. So like, I don't want to. I'm with you on like a lot of what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't want to discredit whether it's JB or whoever the JUCO coach is, like whatever coaches, and make it seem like they don't play a role in progressing those players to the next level in some way. That's all.
Listen, again, the NFL was just an example. My coach, Randy Hart, was on my head every day.
Right.
And he made sure that I got the most out of my potential. And I greatly benefited from that, right? I greatly benefited from that. I saw a lot of kids come in with me and get kicked out for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that if these kids would have went somewhere else and they would have, they would have went to Power 5 and gone on. It wasn't just specifically because of where they were at JUCO. And
I'm going to disagree 100%, and it is what it is. That's why great conversations create great conversation. Disagreements create great conversation. Here, and I'll end with this. Cheers. I'll end with this, though. The Power 5 kid that I would get, they left the Power 5 for a reason. You agree?
I didn't hear you. What you say?
The Power 5 kids that go JUCO, let's just say a Alabama kid, Tank Johnson leaves Alabama, he has to go JUCO because he was either A, kicked out for either a million different things, right? Credit card, weed, grades, whatever. He goes JUCO. That JUCO coach that person goes to, and I've had hundreds of bounce backs, D1 transfers. I've seen thousands go to a particular school. I've seen thousands go to a particular school and fell out, never get back D1. I haven't had that ever happen to me. So I do disagree with you for that simple fact. It matters who you go to, especially as a guy that needs a certain type of tutelage or academic rhetoric or environment, or we lose thousands of kids a day, Tank, going to the wrong school, the wrong coach. I'm just telling you, and that's the part I disagree with. It matters solely, and I have yet to fail a kid. That kid's yet to leave me and go back Power 5 and go to jail. I have yet to have a kid leave me and not graduate and get their degree. So it matters because you see this thing every day. We hear the stories that, oh, man, the coach threw him to the side. He played him. He didn't even graduate the kid. This is a huge issue in coaching. Kids leave every single day, and the coach, who I hold accountable, myself and coaches, it's your job to get the baby graduated, homie. It's your job to get this motherfucker through the process. We fail these kids at all-time high because they're a piece of meat in the meat market. And you know that as well as black men, especially in this inner city juke or football life, they are a fucking piece of meat in the meat market. And these fucking coaches walking around here chasing a bag could give a fuck less about them. And that's just the truth. So there's a reason why I turned down 3 Division I jobs when I was younger, because JUCO is what I am. And without me, those kids fail. And that's fact.
Well, let's just end it on this, right? I wouldn't say every single one of them would have been successful or failed without you. I think there's probably a percentage in there somewhere in the middle, right? Like some kids needed a JB to be successful, right? There were some kids who absolutely needed that environment to be successful, but then there's other kids who could have went to any school they wanted to and been successful. I'm not going to throw a blanket over everything, and I don't think you should throw a blanket over it all either.
No, agree. No, exactly.
With all that being said, I think Deion and Colorado are going to win 7 games this year.
Facts. I sure hope they win 7 games.